on human performance in space environment. So our today's topic is pre-flight exercise training for astronauts. Physical training has been conducted on International Space Station from past 10 years as a countermeasure to physiological deconditioning during space flight. So now ending your curiosity, let's start our today's session. And I'd like to hand it over to Ms. Ma'am Garima Patel, ma'am. You can continue with the session, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay. So I'll put it on presentation mode. Fine. So today's topic it's pre-flight exercise training, and without wasting much of your time more, so I'll be straightforward jumping into it. So pre-flight exercise training does not only comprises of training, but it also includes assessment. So, in simpler terms, if I have to say, if whenever you go to a doctor or to your health experts or whenever you do a consultation, so you tell your symptoms, right, and they try to assess, diagnose you. So, why you are being affected or with what you are being affected, and accordingly they prescribe something to you. They give something to you, right? In the same way, when it has to be in the form of exercises, we first identify what are all the problems there, okay, what is the current level of fitness for the astronauts, and accordingly we plan a treatment regime. So when I say when we assess, we go for one thing, whether the astronaut is having any pre-existing condition. So for example, say any age-related conditions, or whether having any cardiovascular conditions or so on. Now, there is a general conception, or it is not wrong previously, any individual who aspire to become an astronaut should be physically fit, right? And nowadays, when the space is commercializing more, you are or the people who are having pre-existing conditions are being eligible at least to undergo an astronaut training, right? So first we will see about the fitness testing amongst astronaut. We measure the height, the body mass, the body composition. Now here the body composition means how much fat or protein or muscle mass you have, for example. So we use bioimpedance for it, analysis for it. What it does is, so different tissues has different water content, and depending upon that water content, a different resistance is been given to the current. So we apply a weak electric current and we translate that into voltage, which is measured in as an impedance, and hence we get the composition there, right? Next is the core muscle endurance. I hope yesterday when we had all the systems, I had talked about strength, endurance, bones, muscles. So I'm not going to repeat those things. In case if you don't understand or you don't remember those terms, please raise your hand or you can stop me in between, right? So yeah, we had this body composition, then the muscle endurance. Here endurance means how long a muscle can work. So for example, what we do is we ask the individual to hold a particular position. This is usually nowadays called as pilates, right, where you go on your forearms and on your toes and you try to hold a particular position without vibrating, right? So this is an example of core muscle endurance testing. Then we go for flexibility testing. Flexibility testing means for your muscles how stretchable they are. So we ask them to sit. So this is one form of testing. So this is sit and reach test. So we ask them to sit on a mat, okay? Put both the hands in front with your knees straight. Try to bend forward as much as possible. So this is for the flexibility here. So you are testing your muscles here, okay? Next is for postural stability. So I hope you remember yesterday we did like standing on floor and then standing on pillow and you were swaying front back or sideways, right? Same way we do this postural stability testing among individuals by making them stand on a platform. Now what does this platform gives us is they gives us a map, okay? So or a graph I can say. So is there any question? I don't know. Okay.
No.
So, what did they do is they give you a graph. So, remember in your school when you have x, y, axis and used to plot a graph, same way they gives us a graph in different directions here, right? They gives us a graph and we came to know how much the person is swaying when we are standing still or when we are increasing the challenges. For example, normal standing, then keeping feet together, eyes open, eyes closed, standing on one foot, changing the arm positions, and so on. So we check that in front and back, sideways, and this is how we get a graph. Now, this is the center point, and this dark spot, which you can see here, is actually indicating the individual's position. Okay. Now, as the individual is moving, you can see these green lines are forming. The more you go away from the center, means that more you are swaying and more unstable you are. Okay. Then next is, oh, then next is the postural stability. Oh, sorry, it is repeated. Postural stability, I have already said. Then you have hand grip strength. So for your hand, you again have an instrument and you have to press it against the resistance or you have to press it with a force. And with that, that will give you a reading. It is same as that when you are standing and you get some numbers. So same thing, you get some numbers with your hand strength as well. Then you have to check the muscle power, okay, and we check that with different tests. Now here in the video you can see drop jumps. So what you do is you stand on a block, okay, of a particular height. You ask the individual to jump once and then with full force he or she has to jump again, and that particular force has been recorded. Okay, then next is the testing the major muscle group strength. Now you have checked the hand grip strength, and then you go for the other muscles, the major muscle groups like your back and so on. This testing is done on the principle of repetition maximum, that is RM. So 1 RM, 1 repetition maximum is the gold standard. Okay. And we have other instruments as well, like isokinetic devices. Okay. So what we do when we test with 1 RM is we ask the person to perform a particular activity with maximum power or maximum force for one particular repetition. Now, how we do that? So, for example, when a person has to do a bench press is you lie down on a bench and you start lifting a weight. Okay, so you put on weight how you do it in the gym. Okay, we ask him or her to lift and put it down. So we record that weight. Then we again take a break, enough break, okay, because it is a power lifting. We put on weights and we do it. So until the person is able to lift the weight with the correct technique, maximum weight with correct technique of one repetition, and that is counted as 1 RM for that particular individual. Then we go for cardiovascular capacity, like VO2 max. Yesterday I've said, so how much oxygen your heart can pump and during demanding tasks. So what here we do is we use a treadmill or a ergometer. Ergometer is a cycle, a static cycle, and you have to pedal it. Okay, and we have a different protocols for it. So basically modified Bruce sport. It's just a protocol where varied in intensity are been applied, and we test your VO2 max and other parameters. Okay, so they wear all these equipments, they run here for, and they are being told what has to be done, and recordings are being made. Okay, so this is about the testing. So basically we have test the um, musculoskeletal system, for postural stability, the neurosensory system, and with the help of treadmill or ergometer, we have tested the cardiovascular system, right? After that, we will collect all the information and start prescribing exercises for individual astronauts. Okay. Now, prescription here is based on this principle. We call it as FIDT. F stands for frequency, I stands for intensity, D is for duration, T is for type. So each of this uh, has its own importance whenever you prescribe exercises. Now, this is same as that of how the doctor prescribes a medicine. So, a doctor will write the name, they'll write the dosage, so much milligram. Okay, they'll write how many times you have to take in particular day, right? And how you have to continue till how many days. So same here, we also say frequency, how many times you have to do it, intensity. So I can say it like how vigorous you have to do it, duration, for how long you have to do it, and type, what exactly, for example, whether you are running on a treadmill or you are going for lifting some weights or you are doing an ergometer. So there are different types or modes of exercises. And the last is the progression. Now this is very important. Day one, we start with the based on the assessment, we have testing we have done, we start with very basic exercises for them without putting much load on the body, and gradually we start increasing it. So for example, we can start putting more load, or we can increase the repetition. So if you have lifted a weight for 5 times, you will increase it to 7 times and then 10 times and so on, right? So I hope this FIDT principle has been understood well. Now, each of the agencies have their own exercise prescriptions for their astronauts, those who are having the training centers. Okay, so we'll see few of the agencies exercise prescription. For NASA, what they do is their main objective is to start with the general phase, okay, followed by strength, then power, and then endurance, right? And they focus on a multi directional and multi joint functional movement. So it is not only multi joint, means more than two joints are involved in particular, or two or more than two joints are involved in a particular exercise. Okay, so they include the cardiovascular training and the resistance training or the strength training. Okay, so the cardiovascular training, they prescribe it as for 3 to 5 days a week, and you have to exercise for 65 to 95% of heart rate maximum, another entity, to measure the cardiovascular performance for around 20 to 60 minutes. Okay, the strength training 2 to 3 days a week. So for example, here I have written the sets or the repetitions. So general training, maybe you go for 3 sets general training, 3 sets, and go for 10 to 12 repetitions. Then for strength, again 3 to 4 sets of a particular exercise, and each exercise has to be performed 8 to 10 repetitions. So if, for example, again, bench press, if you are doing, right, so you repeat, you do it for minimum of 8 times, that will comprise of 1 set, and you repeat that 8 times for 3 to 4 times. So those are the sets. So number of repetitions makes 1 set. Okay, then again power, 4 sets, and you repeat it 5 to 6 times, and muscle endurance and so on. I think I'm forgetting something. So cardiovascular training, resistance training. Okay, yeah. What I'm forgetting here is, before you actually start this cardiovascular or the strength training, there is something or these are the actual training. uh, every exercise comprises of 3 phases. The first is the warm up, then is your actual exercise, and third is the cool down. Warm up and cool down, it includes very general or basic exercises that warm up prepares your body or systems to um, meet the demand of the upcoming actual training sessions where the loads will be more. And cool down will prepare your body to again come back to the pre or the preload or the pre-exercise or the optimal normal position when you are not exercising. So your body takes some time to reach at the peak and to come down. So warm up and cool down are equally important, and every exercise phase will include that. For example, a simple stretching exercises of the body or the flexibility what we have checked can be included in your warm up and cool down periods. Okay, so their aim was to optimize physical condition before the mission and prepare them physically for demanding mission tasks, right? So I've already said, oh sorry, this is jaxa. Yeah, so anyone knows jaxa? NASA is from US, jaxa is from
Japan.
Japan, yeah. So the aim here will be to optimize their physical condition before the mission and to train them specifically for a particular task which have been given. So they include 2 to 3 days in a week for 2 hours in a particular day and not less than 1 year before launch. Usually NASA will assign these tasks 1 to 2 years. They are also at least for 1 year. So, what JAXA also emphasizes in their exercise prescription is if a particular astronaut or 2 or 3 astronaut will have to do an extravehicular activity up there in the space, they will train them for that. So specific arm strengthening exercises are also been included in those astronauts only who will be moving out. Okay, and for rest who are not supposed to perform an EVA will not be having these specific exercises. Now coming to CSA. CSA is from anyone?
Canadian Space Agency,
Yes,
Canada.
Canada. So here the objectives of exercises are again to prepare them for adequate level of fitness so that they can be effective, they can effectively perform the missions, and to reserve or to offset the deconditioning effects of the flight as well. So CSA, not only CSA, all the agencies, apart from giving the extravehicular activity training for upper limb, they also see to it that whatever set of exercises are given, they will also train them with the equipments which are present on ISS. Now, on ground, we have multiple resources, but there on ISS, the resources are limited. So, as the progression will happen, they will be trained how to use those particular equipments for a particular exercise. So the exercise prescription includes resistance exercise, cardiorespiratory, flexibility, balance, and agility exercises. Sometimes they do use sports. So on sports grounds, if you have seen that few cones have been placed and the sports person is asked to go for a drill. Now, the same way, the astronauts are also being trained for agility exercises. We will be seeing few exercises, okay, generally prescribed exercises, how they are being performed, okay. And for CSA, they recommend for 3 days in a week the resistance exercise, and again based on 1 RM, okay. So they have 3 phases. Each phase will last for 4 weeks, right? So, first will be focused on joint stability and muscle endurance. Then you will be having strength in hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is increasing the muscle mass, okay? Or I can say the volume. So someone does the biceps in the gym, and you must have seen, I assume, that their biceps are in good shape, right? So that is because of biceps hypertrophy. And then focusing on alternating between the endurance, strength, and power. Okay. So the cardiorespiratory, they prescribe 3 to 5 days in a week, right? Now, lastly, coming to ESA. ESA is from
Europe.
Europe. Yeah. Yes, European Space Agency. So here again, to prepare, their goals will be to prepare the astronauts so that they can perform the task on ISS safely, and provide also a pre and in-flight baseline to monitor the pre and in-flight performances. So in this is how when we say that, in flight some functions are been decreased, then pre-flight, because already a testing has been done, already a protocol has been set, and they were performing at certain level, but in flight again the fluctuations have been recorded and a comparison can be made. Then they also see toward that they can provide a long-term health program to their astronauts in preventing diseases, right? And they also focus on in-flight countermeasure training, so like the other agencies, and they include 4 hours of resistance and aerobic exercises along with the agility training. Now, I've jotted down very common exercises which they perform pre-flight, and they are which are replicated in flight on the ISS. So today we'll be seeing how these exercises are being performed, and then when tomorrow we'll be talking about in flight, so we'll be seeing the comparison when these exercises are being done, how they are being taught to use the equipment, and this training how it is being implemented when they are in flight, right? So today we are only going to see the different type of exercises. As I said, the exercises mainly comprises of your strength and cardiovascular. So you can see here squats, different types of squatting, deadlifts, presses, pull-ups, additional set of exercises, and aerobic conditioning. Aerobic conditioning is basically for your cardiovascular system. So this is how front squats will be performed. Whenever they are performing this squat, it is very important that you keep your back straight. So here also you can see in the picture, the back is not bent, right? When you are keeping your back straight here, so you are removing the additional stress because of the weights on your low back, right? And during squats, the primary muscles which we aim is your lower back muscles, the muscles in your buttocks, the muscles in your front of the thigh and inner of the thigh. So these are the primary muscles that are recruited or that are strengthened. Additionally, your leg muscles below the knees, they are also been working when you are performing these squat. Okay. Then we have the deadlifts. This is a basic deadlift, and this one is the sumo deadlift, right? So when an individual is performing deadlift, again, your back and your buttocks, they are activated or they are the primarily strengthened. Apart from that, you have your neck and the upper back muscle in general. The name is trapezius, but for general people you can say this, and covering your upper back. Okay, so this is used. Then again you have the front and inner of the thigh and back of the thigh as well. Along with that, you have your forearm muscles. So muscles on this side which causes the bending of the elbow, these are being activated or strengthened. Yeah, so this is again a sumo deadlift. Yeah. Next is they are trained for bench press here, and it is very important whenever or you are doing a strengthening exercises to keep breathing regularly. So normally, okay, you all are at home, or I don't know, are you all at home?
I
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
okay. Yeah. So those who are just a small activity, or I don't know, do you have a chair or something? Or any heavy object nearby which you can lift?
Yes, I do have a chair.
So okay. So you can do it. So just not up, but just start lifting and do it for 5 times or 10 times. Or do one thing, you just hold it up there.
You can see it, right?
Yes. Is it heavy enough or it's light?
It's me. I'll say medium, not that heavy.
Okay. Okay, you can just hold it in one position, lift it much more up and hold it there. Lift it like this.
Okay. I don't think it's visible, but I'm holding it here.
Yeah. So I just want you to share your experience. That's it.
Okay.
Hold it, hold it. What is happening to your breathing pattern?
It's
Are
like,
you holding it?
yes, I'm holding it, and my hands are shaking as well as I'm breathing a little
Yes. Okay. So
intense.
you put it down. So my whole point for doing this particular exercise is whenever we are lifting weight, we usually, the more weight we lift, we usually try to hold our breath. Okay. So whenever we are doing this, we always tell them, do not hold your breath. Okay. So you have to keep breathing regularly. Right. So this is bench press. Bench press, your front of your chest and your shoulders here. So this is your shoulder joint, just you have a muscle here. So you have a muscle here, and this front portion of this muscle will be strengthened. And also because you are bending and straightening the elbow, so you have a muscle over here. Okay, I guess if you know biceps and triceps, so front will called as biceps and back is called as triceps, right? So this is also strengthened during this particular exercise. Then you have the shoulder press. Is the video or visible, right?
Yes, it's
Yes,
visible.
it's not on the
Yes, ma'am.
presentation mode. Yeah. So this is shoulder press. You can also do it with the dumbbells. Okay. And this is the machine, but you can do it with the dumbbells as well. And again, important is your posture. So you are not bending and you are not holding your breath. And the muscles which are primarily strengthened will be again this portion of your of the arm. Then you have your back of the arm, that is the triceps, and also this. So basically below the shoulder, the muscle which is there, so it has different parts. So if I can say like this, so these two parts will be strengthened, and you have the muscle at the back. Now, this is a kettlebell swing exercise. So you hold a weight and you try to do. But here again, if you see the posture, right? Can you see the back? It is straight when you are bending forward, so 90 degrees almost. Now, this is very important when you are doing it. Otherwise, individual can develop a back pain. So when you're doing this particular exercise, which muscles are being strengthened primarily will be your lower back and the buttocks. Okay. Then again, you have this trapezius. So from your neck and the upper back, right? Then you have back of the thigh muscles and you have the inner thigh, front inner thigh muscle. Okay. Am I forgetting anything else? Yeah. And you will be strengthening forearm muscles as well, which are in the front. Now again, you were swinging the weight. Here you are going for squat. Okay, so when you are doing this, the muscles will be your buttocks. Okay, now here your inner thigh muscle and the front of the thigh muscles, these are strengthened primarily. And secondary, you have your back muscles, lower back muscles particularly, and the leg or the calf muscles that are strengthened. Next is the pull up. Okay, here you have a muscle at the sides of your spine, mid portion. Okay, so those are the muscles which are strengthened primarily. Apart from that, you have your biceps. You have this muscle over the arm, you have a muscle in your forearm, and there are some muscles which we call that surrounds the shoulder joint. Okay, they are also being strengthened. Then dips. Okay, see, in every exercises, just look at the posture. This is very important to maintain. In dips, primarily you are strengthening the back of the arm muscle, that is the triceps, and secondarily you are recruiting whole of the front of the chest. Then you have push press, right? Yeah. In push press, again, the back of the muscles, back of the arm, they are the muscles you are training. And this is upright row. Okay. Here you are training again the upper portion of the arm, right? Then you have your upper neck and back muscle and your biceps as well. This is bent over row. So look at the posture here. While maintaining this posture, balance, okay, and normal breathing is lifting up and keeping it down, right? And look at the shoulder position here. So you are not only reaching the plane but also crossing it behind. And the major muscles here will be the back of the arm upper portion, then the neck and the upper back, and others will be your someone surrounding. No, there is some problem with this. Okay. Then you have your mid and the side portion, the muscles that covers the back will be activated, right? Then you have set of exercises. So how you will be lifting weight or dumbbells or doing with the machine. So you have a medicine ball, that is again a ball which is weight, okay, which has some weight. With that you try to do different activities. For example, you do a lunge. Lunge is you stand on the floor, okay, with one leg in front and one at the back, and you try to bend down and you get up, okay. Then you go for a push up. Push up is you lie down on your stomach and keep both the hand on the ground. When you have this medicine ball, actually you are putting both the hands on the ball and you are trying to lift your body up, right? And then you have the sit-ups or the jumping jacks, right? Now these exercises with the medicine ball are done in a circuit. Circuit means you have 1 2 3 4, okay. So in that manner one circuit is completed, right? Once this one circuit is complete, you can move to the another set of exercises, that is the circuit 2 or circuit 3 and so on. So here you can see performing a lunges. Lunges here is how you perform, what do I say? Or I can say it as a single leg squat. See here, a double leg squat or a normal squat, you stand on both the legs, you bend down and you get up. Here you keep one leg up in the air and you try to squat with one leg, okay? Then you have to do for a rolling push-up. Here you were keeping both the hands on the ball and you are doing push-up. Here one hand will be on the ground, one hand will be on the ball, and you have to do a push-up, right? And again a crunches. So what I'm trying to say is these are just circuit examples. You can incorporate other different exercises when you're doing, okay, and you and which all exercises has to be done if they are individually tailorized. Now, when we are doing with medicine ball all these exercises, this is basically, so the type of exercise will definitely recruit the muscles, but secondarily this, apart from your core strengthening, this will also see to it to improve your balance, okay. So just imagine when you are doing when you were standing on pillow, right, an unstable surface. So same here, the ball is an unstable surface, so your body has more challenge to keep a particular position or to do a particular task, okay. So here is an example how the astronauts are trained. See, so they are lifting the weight on a machine. He is an astronaut, right? And this is how they do it on run on a treadmill. And this is the monitor, and everything will be recorded and so on, right? Right. One more thing. Here, did I include the pool training? Okay. Actually, this is they are being trained in pool as well on earth, various simulations, so that the astronaut can experience how it will feel when they are in space. So one of the simulation which has been used to train the astronauts is you are training them into pool. Okay. And yeah, the next is the virtual reality training. You all must have heard about it, and they are being used to train astronaut as well. So here is the actual room where they are performing a task, but this is what they are seeing, what they are doing. So they wear this head and they see they are doing this particular task, but actually it is like, so same way if someone is maneuvering, this is what they will see, but in the training room it is not so. So there are multiple tasks. It's not only these set of exercises, there are multiple tasks which are trained with virtual reality training as of now, right? So they are used for your hand, they are used for your postural stability as well. Okay. And in that way they feel that whether because up there we have discussed yesterday that the distance and all these judgments are being lost. Now, with the help of VR, we can also train with the accurate judgment or of the distances or of the objects which are being placed or how they have to be maneuvered. Okay, so this was all from my part today. I have not included. I have not included. Okay, the exercises actually done by the astronauts, because tomorrow when we are seeing the in-flight, so I'll be showing those videos tomorrow. Why? Because they will be uh, correlated. So just now one we have seen how he was lifting the weight, and that particular exercise how they are doing actually in this space or how they are being taught, because they don't have any physios or trainers there. So those actual videos I have kept it for tomorrow so that we can correlate well, right? Now there is a task. 1 2 3 4, how many attendees are there so that we can go into a group? How many attendees? I guess only one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it won't be. Uh, okay, actually, I've planned a task. I thought that there will be more people. Mm, hopefully, if we have tomorrow, because I want them to discuss and then come up with a solution. So hopefully, if we have tomorrow,
We can do one thing like you can assign the task today, and before we begin tomorrow's session, we can discuss or come up with what answer we have. We can do that way.
actually, it is okay if we do it tomorrow, because that's what I say, pre-flight and in-flight. So I can give the same case, like the same individual when he or she is in pre-flight, that particular task, and carry forward into in-flight. So that can be done, because I don't know. It won't look good if I tell him alone to do it, right? So if there are
Right.
any questions, yeah, so we can start with our questions.
Ashad, if you have any questions, you can like unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Actually, I had a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
go
So,
ahead.
yeah, like these exercise when astronauts are selected for any flight, these exercise are done. Like they are assigned these exercise.
So that's what I, yeah.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
now space tourism is starting, so we have to do that same exercise.
We have to do the same exercise in a sense. I didn't get your question.
Same. Now the space tourism is starting. In future,
Yes.
we can have a tour to the space.
Hmm.
So we have to do the same exercise for
Okay.
traveling there.
Okay, so it totally depends. You are going for suborbital flight, an
Yeah.
orbital flight, or you're going for an ISS mission.
Okay.
So these three are the different things. Okay,
Hmm.
so recently, I guess Virgin Galactic, you
Yeah.
must have seen,
And
and Blue Origin, Elon
yeah,
Musk,
you know.
everyone is sending people up there. It's good. Okay, so what happens is for your Virgin Galactic flight, there was 14 hours of training what has been given total, in total. Okay, and you have different institutes which are been recognized by FAA, and they have different training protocols, right? So depending upon how much time you're gonna be in the space, the problems which your body will encounter differs. So, for example, if it is a suborbital flight, now suborbital flight is commercially gonna use for transport. Okay, it is so from one point to another point, point to point transportation. So, for
Okay.
example, from London to Tokyo, you can reach maximum 90 minutes. It will take maximum of 90 minutes, right? So, what your physiological changes your body will have? So those physiological changes are grouped into according to the period. So, for example, if you're going to be in this space for 3 days or less than 3 days, 3 to 1 week, more than a week. So, if you are going to be there, say, for less than 3 days, what you will have? Space motion sickness, right? Basically, if one I have to point out. So, I'll be training you for that, right? So, I don't care because I know you will not have back pain. You will not have much of the bone loss there. Did you get my point? And if it is only for 90 minutes, only space motion sickness or your breathing and so on, I don't care of any long term effects of the space. So it totally depends which flight you're going to take and why you're going to take it. Right?
Ma'am, we have a question in message box. Can you see?
Yeah. Uh, Scope for physiotherapist in aerospace. Okay. Are you in India, Asha? I forgot that, so I'm so sorry.
I think he's from Dubai.
He's from Dubai.
Okay, he's from Dubai. Okay, no worries. So, all the space agencies who are doing human space flight programs have physiotherapists or trainers, right? So, most of them are mastered in sports because the sports conditions or the sports training, what has been given for the athletes to get the more than a normal or the optimal physical performance is similar for the astronauts too, right? So most of them they do the MPT or the master's program in sports sciences. I hope you know, right? And there is a vast scope if all the agencies, those who are planning human space flight, you can see everyone has a physiotherapist. Okay, and I don't know whether I should say this or not. India has no, it's good that India has started the Human Space Flight Center in Bangalore, and soon we can also see maybe they are recruiting a physiotherapist. They will have to. They don't have any other option. Any other certificates or diploma courses? Yes, you can join the ISU programs. They are really good. They are multidisciplinary, and you will be having. Best part is join those programs who have a project involved, because when you are involved in a project, for example, I was an ISU candidate. Okay, we had a project on suborbital flights, right? So I was involved in human performance in space, particularly the exercise, and there we learned a lot of things. So if you want to go for any courses, you can start off with ISU, and there are many other courses which are being offered at master levels, where and internship projects as well, right? So there are many universities. For example, in Germany, you have DLR. Then you have too many universities, Houston, because they have their own training centers, and also in US, Europe, full of opportunities, right? So you have a lot of courses. It's just that you have to search which one you want to join. But if you take my recommendation, if you want a multidisciplinary approach in a short time span, without uh, which is also economical or financially affordable for you, go for an ISU program, because it will not only teach you the human performance aspects, it will also tell you how you have to keep in mind the engineering, the architecture, the policy, or all those different fields which are involved in airspace. I hope that answers your question, Asher.
I have one question. Like in the PPT, as we were discussing, you've mentioned that all these space agencies have different time period for training the astronauts, right? And
Okay.
different purposes. So, like, if the main goal is to send them to ISS to perform a certain task, then why do they prefer different time range and different activities for like
Okay.
the depending upon the agencies?
Okay. So it is like, if you see their goals or objectives, they are not different. Everyone are planning for that optimal performance, right? In flight, they can do, or their health do not deteriorate. It's just that the wordings or the uh, rephrasing of a particular aim, I can say. So all are similar. Now, why there may be, like someone has said, 3 to 5 days, some said 2 days, some says 4 hours, 2 hours. Now that totally depend why they are sending, or what are there. So for NASA particularly, if you see, they perform a lot of experiments. Or it's not only that 2 hours or 4 hours they will be only exercising, and rest of the day they have to off. Now they have so many projects, and in that particular their task, you have to fit these exercises, right? And second thing, the origin and the ethnicity. Now, with that, your human body that differs a bit. So if you say 3 to 5 days and someone says 4 days, so the mean is same,
Right, right.
right? It is only I'm giving a range, or I'm giving a particular number. So if you see that more or less it is the same, only the organization of these exercises may be different,
Okay.
because they all do the same exercises there,
Right.
right? So it's not that it may appear that NASA has given this and they have written this, CSA has given this and they have written this, but if you see, it is more or less similar. It's not different.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And definitely, second thing is, if I have opened a company, I have to write that these are my prescriptions, or these are my goals, or these are our vision, mission, whatever it is, right? So I cannot just say copied NASA, same as NASA. No one will do that.
Right. And second question was like, as we all know that we are starting with space tourism as well. And we had Wally Funk who was 82 years old. So like there were like many people from different age groups on that flight. So did the physio like training change according to the age group, and what exercises did they perform like
Yes,
individually
that's
based
what
on
I'm
the age
saying.
group?
So it's not only based on the age group, even if it is a male or a female, okay, from or what was their occupation. So there are many factors involved, right? The main concern is, when you take older individual, is the pre-existing conditions. For example, many you can see, or the normal aging, the bones or the muscles are weak, or the heart, the performance of the heart is not as good as the many other factors, right? So if they have any pre-existing condition, we have to deal with it. Now there are many other options. That's why, as I said, there are other people who can give medicines. So, for example, on earth, if someone has a problem with blood pressure, they are on pills, plus they do exercises. right? So the same way is it is there. So if I have back pain, right, maybe I will not be able to do certain exercises, but having said that, my back muscles has to be kept strong. So I have to innovate, or I have to choose wisely those exercises, or I have to apply the FIT principle, FITT, in such a manner that I gradually progress in a way that the back muscles are being strengthened. Right? So for that female, I guess every one of us were so happy. So we saw the youngest and I guess the oldest, right, if I'm not wrong. So we had both combination there, and definitely the training differ for both of them. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. You mentioned the criteria right now, FITT, the fit
Yes.
criteria. So can you explain a bit more as I
Yeah.
was.
So it is, you usually, I should not say usually, but yeah, all of us must have visited a doctor once in their lifetime, at least once, right? What did they do? They write name of a tablet, right? Then they tell you, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, or whatever,
Right,
right? How many times a day you have to take it.
right.
Then they tell you, take it for 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, and then do a follow up.
Yeah,
And they also write, when they write in the medicine, and when you go to the pharma person, they give you an exact dose, for example, 20 mg, 50 mg, whatever, 500 mg, right? So that is the dosage.
right,
Same way in exercises, we have dosage. So when I say you have to do a squat, so that is the name of the medicine. So that is the name of an exercise,
right,
right? So that is the type or mode, FIDT, which type of exercise. So you are doing strengthening or aerobic, or what you are doing. So you are running on a treadmill, or you are doing an exercise ergometer, and so on. Okay.
yeah.
Is this clear?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Then you have to take it 3 times a day and for 20 days, right? So you have to repeat the squat 5 to 8 times. That makes your one set, and you have to do it three
three
sets.
times. Yeah, right, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you get me?
yes,
FIDT. So this is same because we don't go to physio, so we don't remember this, right? So just try to correlate. So you have frequency, you have intensity. Now intensity here means um, how much you can do.
hmm.
So for example, I can lift 5 kgs for 10 repetitions, 2 sets. You can do 12 kgs, 5 repetitions for 3 sets, right?
So that
Or
will differ to individual training.
yes,
Yeah.
that's why I said the testing is important. Remember, we had body composition, we have tested the aerobic fitness, VO2 max, how much heartbeats, heart rate, maximal heart rate. So those are all are being tested so that I can give an exercise prescription. So you have to do a push-ups, or you have to do a circuit training, or you have to do a back press, or whatever exercises for so many repetitions with so many weight with so long. So if you have to run on a treadmill, so for some people I'll say, itna miles per
Hmm.
hour or per minute, whatever we give it to them the dosage for 10 minutes. For Shreya, I'll say 20. For Kaustubh, maybe day one, 5 minutes, and he's tired.
Right,
So this is how we go. And progression is made once you achieve a particular, we test you again and again. And once we feel that you have achieved the bar, so we have to raise it because we have to increase your performance. Same that as what we do in sports,
right.
right?
Also, like you said, that the EVA astronauts who perform the extravehicular activities, they have different training.
Yes.
So, can
That
you
will be
give
done
us a?
tomorrow.
Okay, okay, okay.
Why I kept those things is, if I'll say all, then it becomes difficult, right? Then it becomes difficult to carry forward, and then again I have to say, okay, yesterday we have said this, that was the video, so I have kept, okay. But it is, what I want to mention is, EVAs are mostly done with the help of your hands most of the time. So what they do is the specific training, or I'll say the functional training, is being done, okay, in simulation. For example, how you reach your target, Okay,
Right.
then how you're gonna do it? So you need to have that muscle power, muscle strength to do it. Now when it comes to that simulation training, okay, physiotherapist has the least role. Now you have your trainers or experts, I can say, in the simulation environment. So our role was test and prescribe these exercises. Okay, when it comes to because it is like you cannot walk how you walk on earth. You do not walk like that.
Yeah.
So how
Right.
you are gonna when you go out, everything has been taught. So how do you enter, for example, in a space shuttle? We just see, they are lying down in astronaut, and they are now everything has been taught to them, how you have to enter, how you have to take a position. People are there to, but once you are up, no one is there to help you, right? So how you will open up, how you will get up, how will you don the space suits, then how you are supposed to go out, everything, each and every step, how you teach a baby, everything has been taught to them. So tomorrow we'll see a bit of clippings, how do they train in the pool, okay, how do they wear these suits, basically how do they train when they have
Right.
to do an EVA. So yeah, we'll see a small clippings on that tomorrow.
Ma'am, do they practice yoga?
It depends. So if
Depends.
if if you say Rakesh Sharma sir, who
Oh
was
yeah.
he? Yeah. So
Yeah.
who was he?
It's
Anyone?
the first Indian to, yeah.
First
So
Indian. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
So it is like he if you have heard about his recording when he was talking with our late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, he said when she asked about how you're keeping your health and so on, he
Hmm.
said that he was practicing yoga there,
Yoga. Okay.
right? So it purely depends what your physiotherapist has planned for you, right?
Right. So I have a last question from my side. Like you in the last slide, as you like gave us a little information about the virtual training.
Yes,
So
virtual
how,
reality. Hmm.
the virtual reality simulation and how it is helpful. So like exactly how this relates to
Okay.
pre-flight training.
How many of you play PUBG or you have played PUBG? No
Yes,
one.
we have
No,
played PUBG.
Sorry?
he
Yes,
must
I
have.
have played.
Yeah.
You have played. So I don't know. It was banned, and I've seen people gone crazy behind PUBG, right? Were you were you actually there, Costo?
No, ma'am.
But you felt.
I have played when I was in 11th. After
Okay.
12th, I
Okay,
have not
whatever.
played.
What happens is we give you different sets, okay,
Oh,
to wear. So whatever you see, you perceive and you feel,
Right.
right?
Right.
So with that headset, that gives you a perception that you are in a particular environment, right? And there are so much technology developed. So you have an haptic gloves that gives you a sensation, although you are not holding the object. For
Mhm.
example, if I have to lift my cell phone, right? So I'm seeing it in an environment where my cell phone is lying there. I am wearing an haptic glove. So it is somewhere here. Oh, can you see this plug here?
Yes.
Okay, now I can't see because I'm like this, right?
Yeah.
When I wear this, I'm assuming because I'm seeing in this screen, I'm
Right.
assuming that I'm seeing it, but actually I'm
You're
not.
not. Right.
Now I have these gloves, okay, and I'm trying to reach where is it, and I can feel that I'm touching a plug. So this is how the technology has been advanced. So there is something called as virtual reality, although you are in a virtual world, but it gives you a glimpse that you are actually not. Okay. And there is something also called as augmented reality, where you do not have to wear those sets.
Right.
So a room has been made such that, okay, even it moves like your 3D, 4D, how you give. You actually feel that you are riding. So it is the same concept for virtual reality. Only the thing is there you are actually moving in a simulated or in a virtual environment, and you can feel it how you see it in 3D, 4Ds or 5D, 7D, whatever has come. Right? Does that answer the question?
Yes. So you guys have any other questions?
From my side, no.
From your side, no. And I don't know, Ashar, whether you were happy with this session or not. But what about engineers? Did you get anything or not?
No.
Right. Because I'm trying to keep it very simple so that even a person who is not from that background at least able to have an idea what they are doing.
Yes,
That's it,
yes,
right?
yes. He's very happy with this session, ma'am.
Very happy actually.
Yeah. Thank you. Fine. So, any more questions?
Mm.
Right, so we will be doing the task one and task two together tomorrow. I hope more people will join us. And it is good because then I can divide the task and let's see how the group interacts. And I guess even you people can join. It's okay. There is no right and wrong in that.
Yeah, sure, we will.
Yeah.
Have fun. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for coming in and giving us such an insightful session today. And we'll meet again tomorrow for the third day.